Christmas, everybody, and welcome back to Kim's Kitchen. I hope you're all doing well and are staying safe. Today we're going to be making two types of cookies together. One gingerbread and one sugar cookie. They're very easy to get together and I can't wait to get started with you. Come on, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do today is to make the gingerbread cookie. For that we need a mixer. We're going to add in the butter. The butter should be at room temperature. We're going to add in our brown sugar and our molasses. Now we're going to mix it all until it's nice and fluffy. It's been 2 minutes since I've mixed this, and now we're going to add in the egg and the vanilla. In goes the egg. And now 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Mix that up. Now it's time to add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. So we'll need another bowl. Add in the flour. Add in the ginger, clove, nutmeg, cinnamon, baking soda, and salt. Whisk it all up. Make sure it's really well combined. So now we're going to slowly combine the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. While doing this, make sure you don't overmix, just until combined. If you overmix this batter, it's going to be very hard and we don't want that consistency. So slowly add a little bit and then mix on low. Add a little bit more. Mix again low. And continue this process until you finish using up the flour. Now I've added the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and I just mix it until combined. Make sure don't overmix. So what we have here is this crumbly consistency. We're going to put this in a plastic wrap and keep it in the fridge for about 1 hour at least. So we're going to form this into a ball because, as you know, the dough is too soft right now. So we're going to make this a nice and round shape, or you can put it in a disc shape, however you like. And make sure to wrap it so it doesn't dry up. And we're going to stick this in the fridge for about 1 hour at least, or you can do it the day before. Goes in the fridge. So our next sugar cookie is going to be made now. It's the same process. First we're going to cream the butter and the sugar together. If you don't have an electric mixer, that's fine as well. You can do it by hand. And if you're going to use electric mixer, don't mix it too much. So first let's add in the butter and our sugar. Now let's cream that together really slowly on low. We want to blend the sugar and the butter together until it's smooth. Let's put this dough into a plastic wrap, and if you like, we can separate it in two. Wrap it really well, form it into a ball or into a disc shape like this. That's one. And then let's do the other disc. you can just do it roughly because we're going to roll it out anyways later. So we have 2 disc-shaped dough right now, and this will go into the fridge for at least 1 hour to chill. If you want, you can do it the day before. The dough has been resting for 1 hour in the fridge now. I took mine, and actually before I rested it, I put them into 2 discs so that it would be easier to unroll afterwards. So here are my 2 discs. When you're not working with the other one, I advise you to keep it chilled in the fridge so it's better that way. So now we're gonna take out our first gingerbread dough disc. In the meantime, you'll want to warm up the oven to 175 degrees centigrade or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And here is our dough. You can see it's nice and firm. And what I'm going to do first is to lightly flour the surface so that it doesn't really stick. You don't want too much flour. And we're going to put it on the surface and gently roll it out into about a 1/4 inch thickness. As you can see, this is all the same width, which is about 1/4 inch thickness. Make sure it's all the same width, otherwise one part will burn and the other part will not cook enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my gingerbread man cookie cutters, and these are really useful. You can use any kind you like. I have 2 different versions, so I'm going to go ahead and press down. Try to use as much space as you can. We don't want to waste any, so go ahead and press them all and then remove the dough when you're finished. Okay, so I just want to make sure they're extra firm before I take them out. I'm going to put them in the fridge for about 20 more minutes just to harden. In the meantime, I'm going to get the sugar cookies ready. Now I got my sugar cookie dough out of the fridge. This has also been resting for an hour, and I'm going to do the same thing basically. So slightly flour the surface. Take out one of the discs. This dough has been divided in 2, just like the gingerbread dough. And I'm going to put it on the surface here and flour my rolling pin as well. And slowly I'm going to make it into the same even length, 1/4 inch thickness, so that I can use my cookie cutters in an even way. So this is the thickness we want. Again, it's a 1/4 inch thick. And now I'm going to get my cookie cutters. These are just any kind of Christmassy cookie cutters you have. Whatever you have is great. I like this Christmas tree, and I have some snowflakes, so whatever you like. So I'm going to prop this in the freezer as well for about 10 to 20 minutes until it's nice and firm, so it's easier to take out. I've got my gingerbread men out of the freezer, and they are ready now to be put on the oven tray. I have prepared the oven tray with a silpat. It makes it really easy to remove the cookie. If you don't have one of these, you can go ahead and use a parchment paper. Make sure your oven is heated to 175 degrees centigrade, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's get out our gingerbread man really carefully. You see it comes out nice and firm. It doesn't stick to anything. The rest of the dough you can definitely use for later. So here, as you remember, we are using only half of the dough that we prepared. The other half is still in the freezer, and if you want a fresh batch anytime, you can just take it out and use it. So today I'm just going to be using half the batch that we made, and I'm going to keep the rest of these pieces of dough as well. So here we're gently removing all of them. So we're going to frost these later. Doesn't matter if they're not perfect looking, don't worry about it. We can fix them up. So I'm going to grab the rest of this dough right now, and I'm going to wrap it again into the plastic wrap to keep it staying moist. And without wasting any more time, I'm going to pop this in the oven right away. It's going to cook for about 9 minutes. Keep your eye on it. You don't want to overcook them. Now I got my sugar cookie dough out of the freezer. It was resting for about 10 minutes, nice and firm now, and we can remove them and put them on our oven tray, again prepared with a silk pad or parchment paper. So I'm going to gently take them out, and like the other dough, we're going to save the remaining pieces of dough wrapped up again into plastic to keep them moist. And again, here I'm using only half of the recipe, so the other disc of dough is still in the fridge, and actually you can even freeze them, and whenever you want some fresh cookies, just take them out. So here comes the cookies really easily because they have firmed up in the freezer. So definitely firm them up, otherwise they will just fall apart when you try to put them on the tray. These are made of butter, and if your kitchen is a bit hot, just like mine, they will definitely melt while you're trying to do this. So definitely freeze them. And put this in the oven right away before it comes to room temperature. It's going to bake for about 6 minutes. Make sure to save the scraps because this is a lot of extra dough. You don't want to waste it. So I'm going to take them all up and rewrap them and save them for another time. Unless you have a crowded house and everyone's going to eat them up right away, you're going to save these for later. There you go. So we're going to let these cool down to room temperature, and then we're going to go ahead and frost them. We're going to let these cool completely before we frost them as well. Make sure do not move them until they're cool. If you move them right out the oven, they will break. Our cookies have cooled down. Now for the fun part, the decoration of our cookies. Basically, we're going to use a combination of powdered sugar, which you can mix with water or with milk. And I'm using soy milk today, so here's goes in the milk. And you want to gently combine that just a bit, and then it will become homogeneous. And then you can squeeze that onto the cookies. I like to also add a touch of vanilla to give a nice flavor, so we're going to do that as soon as this is combined. It will probably be easier with a bigger bowl. If you find it's too dry, you can go ahead and add a little bit more milk. So mine is a little thick here. I may want to add just a bit more milk, but make sure you add it a little at a time because it does come together quite quickly. So now I'm going to add just a bit more milk because it's a little bit dry. Just a little bit at a time. Give it another mix, and if it combines well, then it should be enough. You want a liquid flowing icing for the top because we're going to use this to decorate the cookie, and if it's hard as a rock, you won't be able to decorate it. So slowly add more milk if you need. So mine's coming together, as you can see. I think I want to add just a little bit more milk. There, it's coming together now really nicely. It's still just a bit thick, but if I mix it a bit more, it will be fine. And now I'm going to add in some vanilla. About half a teaspoon is good. So this is the consistency we want, nice and flowing. Once we decorate the cookies and we store it in the fridge, it will harden up. So if you want to have different colors, you can go ahead and add some color. As I have some Christmas trees, I'm going to make them green. So just a touch of green will be fine. So I will divide that into a little bit. I will divide that into 2 bowls, just a little bit because I don't have that many trees. And just a touch of green. This is gel food coloring. I don't normally use food coloring, but sometimes it looks nice. And mix that too until you get the green that you like. This is a nice green for a festive Christmas tree. So there are many ways you can apply the frosting. I find it very easy to use one of these. I'm going to go ahead and decorate the gingerbread man first. So you can outline it, you can put buttons, smiley face, whatever you like. So let's go ahead and do one of them first. I'm going to show you how I do my Christmas tree. So I hope you enjoyed making these Christmas cookies together. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'm wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Time to try the gingerbread man. I think I'm gonna bite his head off first. Oh, so good. Snowflake.